Cinefest schedule reduced to 3 days a week starting next fall. Why Spotlight is cutting back on the program.
We'll bring you an update from the new law building going up on the northwest side of campus.
And paying tribute to Mack Robinson, what the loss of the business legend means for Georgia State. Those stories and more tonight on Panther Report.
Good evening, I'm Jayla Bell.
And I'm Yasmina Alston.
Cinefest will be open for just 3 days a week starting next fall, according to Spotlight Programs Board. The president of Spotlight, Chauncey Walker, cites a lack of student attendance as a reason for the cuts, but is hoping to increase the demand of moviegoers with a reduced schedule. As of this broadcast, Spotlight cannot confirm the days Cinefest will remain open, but say the most popular hours based on prior attendance records will be factored in. Despite rumors circulating about Cinefest, the space will not be used as an open mic night venue during closing hours, and concessions will remain for sale. However, the space will allow Spotlight to host other events for students during the off days of Cinefest.
The construction of Georgia State's new law school continues. Our own Galila Gabidi has more on the story.
Earlier this year, the construction of the new law building was announced. The ground was broken in September, and the excavation process has gone well throughout fall and into early 2014, according to Chip Hill, the Assistant Dean of Administration and Finance. This building will be located on the corner of John Wesley Dobbs and Park Place, next to the Georgia Pacific buildings. The new building will house the law school, law library, clinics, centers, classrooms, alumni relations area, a large ceremonial courtroom and smaller courtrooms, a conference center, and the Atlanta's new Center for International Commercial Arbitration. Most foundation slabs were poured before the first snowstorm in January, and the remaining slabs were poured before the second snowstorm in February. Although the weather has affected the schedule a bit, the contractor has been working diligently in order to finish the construction on time. Therefore, the construction is still set to be finished on March of 2015, and classes will be held in the building for summer of 2015. For GSTV News, this is Galila Kabidi.
A rollout of the new Panther Express buses is expected soon, according to Georgia State's Auxiliary Services. The university posted this picture to its Instagram account late last week. The new buses will include an onboard camera to detect unsafe driver behaviors, a kneeling feature that lowers the bus to the street level, as well as improved heating and air conditioning.
With the job market becoming increasingly competitive, students nationwide are experiencing post-graduation depression and are struggling to find careers or return to school. Correspondent Aurora Chase investigates the struggle and what students can do to overcome it.
Graduating college is one of the happiest times of a student's life, but for many graduates, they find themselves slipping into a post-graduation depression. This type of depression occurs when graduates find it difficult adjusting to all of the change that comes with life after college, such as finding a career.
I think that if there were more jobs available just on a bachelor's degree, I would have chosen to take a break and work a little bit before coming back to do my master's. But in my hunt for a job, there weren't really that many who accepted just bachelor's degrees.
It's important, however, for students to know they can overcome this slump with proper planning and preparation.
So while you're coming out of your coursework and you're hoping to do one thing and you've got a pretty, tight focus on that one thing, expanding that out a little bit and understanding a variety of ways that you can move into the marketplace is very important. Building your network, join professional associations, speak to your professors, find people working in the field that you want to emulate, and contact those people for informational interviews.
Many campuses have career service centers that offer resume building, mock interviewing, and career counseling, much like the center here at GSU. As May graduation approaches, it's important for students to know they're not alone, and there are resources available to help them navigate through this next phase of life. For GSTV News, I'm Aurora Chase.
Assistant Professor of Nutrition Anita Nucci was sworn in last month as a member of the Georgia Board of Licensed Dietitians by Governor Nathan Deal. The board issues licenses to registered dietitians and regulates the activities of professional dietitians. Georgia State alumni Paige Love and David Orozco also serve as chair and vice chair of the current board.
The Cecil B. Day School of Hospitality Administration was named 18th on the 2014 listing of top 30 hotel management programs by HotelierMiddleEast.com. The site publishes the list yearly and features leading hotel management programs from all around the world. The School of Hospitality, housed within the Robinson College of Business, is the fourth of a total of 6 programs in the United States on the list. The University of Pennsylvania, Cornell University, and the University of Nevada at Las Vegas placed higher.
A tribute is paid to Atlanta business leader Mack Robinson. Our reporter Marquise Jackson has more on the legacy he left at Georgia State University.
In memory of the late Mack Robinson, GSTV News thought it would be fitting to pay tribute to one of Atlanta's greatest business leaders. We got a chance to talk to current Dean of the School of Business, Dean Fenwick Huss, to find out more about the legacy he leaves behind. Dean Huss told us that before Mack Robinson began his career in business, his first job was delivering newspapers as a kid.
Well, first of all, Mr. Robinson was, of course, a very accomplished businessman. He liked to tell the story of his first work was at the age of 10 with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He was a helper. By the age of 12, he had his own route, and by the age of 15, he was district manager for circulation. That was the last time he was paid by someone else for a job. From then on, he was self-employed.
According to Dean Huss, Mr. Robinson was also known for his philanthropy efforts throughout Atlanta.
And he was the ultimate entrepreneur. He simply would see where there was a need and found a way to respond. For example, at the end of the Second World War, there was a shortage of automobiles. So he went into the used car business, started selling used cars. In that business, he learned that people needed insurance and they needed financing. So again, he simply responded to a need.
Mr. Robinson's legacy will have a lasting impact on Atlanta's business community. According to Dean Fenwick Huss, Mr. Robinson's legacy will continue to be a major influence on Georgia State's School of Business. Reporting for GSTV News, I'm Marquise Jackson.
Coming up on Panther Report, we'll bring you inside the program dispelling prejudices that surround Muslim women, and we find out what it's really like to be a resident assistant. Stay with us.
There's low optimism with the K-12 spending report. Our reporter Tamala Anderson has more on the story.
Georgia was hit really hard by the recession. New studies have shown how education was affected. Nicholas Warner at the Physical Research Center of the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies talked about how the recession impacted Georgia schools.
Have been dramatically cut back, and the outcome of this has been a more than 12% reduction in instructional expenditures in real per student terms during the recession, And the outcome of this cutback can be felt primarily in larger classroom sizes, shorter student time with teachers, and less paid time for teachers to prepare their lesson plans.
Warner's research showed that the budget for fixed costs remained steady, but classroom instructional time suffered the most cuts.
Myself and my co-author here at the Fiscal Research Center are continuing to work on this topic and are preparing some academic research regarding the district's choices between instructional and other functions or other parts of their budget during times of cutback.
I'm Tamala Anderson with GSTV News.
Theta Nu Z Multicultural Sorority hosted Scarves in Solidarity this past week, an event raising awareness about hijab-wearing Muslim women. The program was designed to allow students of all backgrounds to experience life from the perspective of hijab-wearing Muslims. Participating students were asked to wear a scarf for one day to not only show support for Muslim women who chose to wear a hijab daily, but also to learn about the prejudices that sometimes come with wearing a hijab.
The world's largest student film festival is here at Georgia State University. Campus Movie Fest travels around the United States, giving students an opportunity to create a 5-minute short film to win prizes. Last year, there were over 75,000 entries and over $400,000 in prizes. This year, the top 16 films from Georgia State University students will be showcased at a red carpet finale where students will be able to win more prizes and gain national exposure. The finale is on March 6th at 7 p.m. in the Speaker's Auditorium. Watch Panther Report's Red Carpet Recap next week. GSTV is a donating partner in this year's events.
The life of an RA is a busy one. Our reporter Victor Williams has more on the story.
Well, if you're an on-campus student, chances are you've had some type of interaction with the resident assistant on every floor, also known as an RA. But what exactly is an RA, and what is their duty? We'll explore today.
As an RA, my responsibility is the residents on my floor. I host programs for them 2 to 3 times a month. I do one-on-ones with them to check up on their life and how they are. I, do room inspections. I also work at the desk, and I do building-wide programs with other RAs and participate in housing events. It's all about time management and knowing who you are as a leader and how you're able to take your position and make someone's life easier, whether it's through providing advice or helping them through on-campus activities. I would definitely recommend it. It's just a lot of prioritizing what's important to you.
Now, if you're interested in becoming an RA, remember that there are a few pre-requirements. You must at least be a graduate of Panther Leap, in good academic standing, or have lived on campus for at least one semester. For GSTV News, I'm Victor Williams.
Men's basketball is headed to the Sun Belt Championship. Dayvon Kimble will bring you the details and more coming up in sports, next on Panther Report.
Presenting your Georgia Power Energy Efficiency Team. Helping you save money and energy around your dorm and apartment, one easy tip at a time. Laundry do's and don'ts. Wash your clothes a full load at a time in warm or cold water.
Men's basketball clinched the Sun Belt Conference regular season title with the wins on their tour the Lone Star State, trumping UT Arlington and Texas State. The team also takes the #1 seed in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, which begins on March 13th. If the Panthers win out, they'll make their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in 13 years. The Sun Belt title marks their school's first outright title since the 2000-2001 season. The 2014 football schedule was released over the weekend. Marquee games include Air Force, Clemson, and the battle for the best GSU against Georgia Southern. Football season kicks off on August 27th at home against Abilene Christian. And with baseball season heating up, sports reporter Andre Jenkins talks to head coach Greg Frady about the expectations this spring about building on last season's success.
You guys had 35 wins last season. How do you build upon that? How do you just keep that success going? That's a really good question, and that's very difficult. And the reality is that last year is last year, and this year is this year. And it doesn't really matter what coaches or players talk about last year. Experience matters. Time on the field matters. Growing and improving matters. But each year is a brand new year, and each team is a brand new team. And we have so many returning players off this year's team. But then again, probably about a third of our team are newcomers. So in itself, it makes this team a unique team like no other team that's ever been at Georgia State. And I think our newcomers have found their roles. I think our returners have elevated their play on the field because of experience. And we've merged together really good. To sustain success, well, that's magic. You know, I don't think anybody has a total recipe for that. But you train well, you put your emphasis on things you can control, and then you go out and place your emphasis on playing good. Not having the best team, but playing good. And I think their team is doing a really excellent job of that.
Okay, thank you. Behind a 5-run fifth inning, Georgia State softball defeated Western Michigan 6-1 in the Panthers' final game of the USF Under Armour Invitational. GSU improved to 11-6 this season after going 4-1 over the weekend.
Georgia State baseball faced off against Northern Kentucky this past weekend. The 3-game series began with Friday's 11-inning thriller, with GSU falling 6-5. GSU went on to split the next 2 games, including Sunday's rout 13-2 over the Norse. Chase Ratfield with 7 of the 13 runs brought in, with 2 2-run doubles, a 3-run bomb ending night 3 for 3, including getting hit by a pitch and walked once. Nick Wilson also hit a solo home run for the second night in a row to extend his hit streak by 11 on the season. The GSU Panthers will be in Kennesaw on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. to extend their win streak. I'm Demetrius Woods reporting, GSTV Sports.
Baseball's Chris Triplett is hoping to build off his run last season as the Panthers continue to dominate on the diamond. We caught up with the senior to see if the third time's the charm when it comes to college that he called home on this week's Athlete of the Week.
All right, Chris, can you tell us a little about yourself, how you got to this point at Georgia State?
A little bit about me is I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. I moved here when I believe I was 6, and so I've been raised in Fayetteville, Georgia. It's pretty much around 30 minutes away. But I actually went to Georgia Tech out of high school. That was one of the schools that I went to, recruited me. Didn't work out there, and I had to go to a junior college in Florida. It's Chipola College. Georgia State, I came home because I wasn't homesick, but I just wanted to give another shot back at the city. I'm a city boy. I love the city of Atlanta. And Georgia State was a good opportunity to just help build a program, and it just seemed good.
And so you've been to 3 different colleges since starting, school.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like for you to finally settle down here at Georgia State?
It feels good, real good, especially, you never know after season what's going to happen. That's how I felt at Georgia Tech. And when you went to a junior college, it's only a 2-year school. So my first year was at Georgia Tech, and my second was at the second one. So I knew I had to go to another school after my sophomore year. So, it was just a lot of frustration. You never know if the team really wants you for you, or do they want you for your talent. So, it was just kind of tough. But when I went to state, it was just, I was happy, really. It was like a home where I could just finally just settle down and just grow as a man and as a student and as a player. So, I'm really very grateful for Georgia State.
Yeah. Do you have anyone in your family that participates in sports?
My family's very big on sports. My mom, she grew up playing softball and volleyball. My father, he was 3-time, athlete in basketball, baseball, and somewhat football too.
Yeah.
And so I definitely got some skills from them. My little brother, he plays football at Shorter. He's a football, a track star, and a baseball too. So our family, we're pretty talented in sports. My aunt, she went to UGA. Luckily, we're playing them today too. But she was luckily she played on the Olympic team. I forgot what year. Don't quote me on it, but she definitely it was definitely an honor to be a part of that too.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think is important for you guys to have a good season this year?
It's important for us to just relax, play our ball. We noticed that when we went to Ole Miss this past weekend, when we play our ball, that's what I would say the difference was from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We just started just enjoying ourselves. You know, it was definitely a different atmosphere, especially playing in an amount of fans.
Yeah.
But once we was like, hey, we know how to play ball, we know how to do it, and it's just have fun. And then Sunday, that's just when we play.
Tune in next week to see who will appear on Athlete of the Week. For more sports updates and game coverage, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. This has been your GSTV Sports Update. I'm Dayvon Kimble.
Thank you for watching this edition of Panther Report. Please visit us online for stories not featured in tonight's broadcast.
Follow us on Twitter at Panther_report and like Panther Report on Facebook. I'm Jayla Bell.
And I'm Yasmina Alston. Have a good evening.